Hello Gems, Leah from Red Emerald Yoga. Welcome back to my channel for today's unboxing and review. And I guess it's going to be also a comparison. So today we're going to be looking at Sasha Graham's Darkwood Tarot. So here I have the signed mini deck. I got this from magic.com. Let's open this up. I ordered these a while ago and this one was taking forever to come in because this is the French edition. Okay, so this was coming from overseas and it just took forever. While I was waiting for it to be shipped, I got an email from magic.com talking about how she was coming in and she was going to be signing a bunch of decks. And so I was like, okay, I'll get this. And I was really excited because I wanted the guidebook. I didn't realize that this deck was so small and it did not come with a guidebook. When I got this deck, it was also a little bit rubbed off on her signature, which I was a little bit disappointed about because I was like, okay, I bought the signed copy and it's a little bit rubbed off. And surprisingly, it was bent. I don't know if that is showing, but normally when I get stuff from Magic, the shipping is really nice, but it already arrived bent. The signature was a little bit rubbed off and I was just like, oh, I had no guidebook and these were smaller than I expected. So I am showing you. I do think that, I don't know really what I'll do with this little mini deck. Super small. I only bought it because I wanted the guidebook and I was like, oh yeah, cool. It's signed. Let's open up this one. This is the one that I'm really excited to open up. So the reason I went with the French edition was because I've heard so many complaints about the English edition. Bad cardstock, just at the edges, like delaminating and just a bunch of problems. And so the English edition has made it in my cart. I don't even know how many times, and it never makes the final cut. I always get scared and I'm like, oh no, and I end up taking it out. For whatever reason, I was really sucked into having this deck, and by sheer accident, I found that there was a French edition. Oh, I was shopping for Lumina Tarot French edition, and it put this one in my suggestion. So I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. So this is a two-part box with these massive thumb holes. I don't know what it says on the back because I do not speak French, but this is from VEGA. VEGA edition. So it's a different publisher than the English one. Oh, it's very tight. So here's the inside of the box. Really cute. I like that. This is another reason that I got excited. It said that it had a satin bag. I don't know what this is. This is probably, honestly, it's probably some sort of polyester. This feels like tent material to me. It doesn't feel like satin. If it is, it's probably a really cheap satin. I don't know. But it does come with the bag. Oh my gosh, I just... I totally gleeked on the bag. Now instead of like blood, sweat, and tears, it has my saliva on it. That's so bad. Here's the inside of the box. Cute. So here's the ISBN for this. What I'm going to end up doing, because I wanted the guidebook and it's something that I do enjoy doing with my decks. Ooh, wow, that's pretty banged up. It's a new, I bought it new, and that's pretty beat up there. It's got a big dent in it. Anyway, since I don't speak or read French, I might be able to understand some words, but what I will do is I'm going to take a photo. This is what I did with my Lumina Tarot. It was also in French, the guidebook. I use an iPhone. So I take a picture of it, and then when it's in the Photos app, you can highlight the text and then you can click translate. And so that's what I did with the Lumina guidebook, and I will do the same with this one. This deck is based on the Rider-Waite. I remember that from shopping. So you can always feel free to carry over your Rider-Waite meanings. read intuitively. So it looks like there's questions. Okay. I just want to show you how much information is in here in case you happen to read French or you want to do what I plan on doing with the photo. It has some spreads. Okay, so this is how much information it has for the majors. Those are probably keywords, I think. And then for the minors, let's see. Queen of Batons, Queen of Wands. This is for the Six of Batons. I don't think the guidebook needed to be so big. I think this could have been condensed a little smaller, but they do include the full color size photo there in case you don't want to have your card with you. Which is nice, like if you're connecting with your deck in bed. If you don't do that, then the guidebook might be a bit much. I was really looking forward to this being a soft and supple satin, but it just feels like tent material. There's something in there too. Let's see. That looks like the wrap for the cards, which was not attached. Okay. All right, so I bought this because I was hoping for better card stock, because what I kept seeing out of the English editions was damaged cards right out of the box. And look, I do have a damaged card. This is lifting and it's uncomfortable in hand. Like you could totally feel that. So I am disappointed. So these are just glossy. The cutting is not great. All of these corners on this side are lifting. Let me see if I can get that to show on camera. I don't really know if that's going to show. I think it's showing there. How it's not smooth. They're all lifting on that side, and we have like a scratch here. The corners are round-ish. They're not even round. That's disappointing. Okay. So let's see if there's any color variations. Like I said, these are really small, and the French edition is brighter. The mini English one is a lot more muted. So this is a deck that I specifically bought for shadow work. I thought it would be good to, like a good October deck. This is really small. And I kind of feel like this green all kind of runs together. Do you see the DW monogram on the trees? I actually like the coloring a little bit better in this one, at least on the red dress and this bottom part of the tree. On the top part of the card, I like the bigger card, the French edition. I do like that Empress. Instead of the pillow, it's like the heart, and the Venus is a part of the tree. We have the book. Some little bats. The Emperor. I heard that this card quality is better than the English edition. If this is better, then that's really sad. I like my Rider-Waite Smith cardstock, my original US games, better than this. Oh wait, I dropped some of these tiny cards. Just kind of showing you the difference. Some of the cards don't have much of a difference in the color. I like the strength card. That's really cool. I'm trying to think of ways, why would I want to use the mini deck versus the larger one? Maybe if I was dealing with somebody who wanted to do shadow work, but they were really scared or kind of intimidated, I might pull, honestly, I might pull a more gentle deck. But if I wanted to work with this deck for whatever reason, I might pull the smaller deck for them. Maybe like it would be less intimidating, less scary if the images were smaller. Here you can see some of the color differences. This is a lot more washed out and muted versus this larger size. And the Wheel of Fortune. I like that it's a spinning wheel. Kind of reminds me of the Fates. I really like Justice with the two people with their hands bound behind their back and they can't see. Instead of Justice's eyes closed, like the future, their fate is unknown. They don't really know what's going to happen to them. I don't know if I was glaring you out right there. The Hanged Man. So we do have gender swaps. Here it's a woman instead of a man. But the card still says Hanged Man. I wasn't paying attention to the other ones. I do like the Death card. That's pretty cool. This one might be one of my favorites. And let me see. I wasn't really paying attention to which one might be my favorite. Okay, let's continue. Temperance, I don't really like the coloring of this Temperance card. But maybe it talks about it in the guidebook as to why it's that color. Maybe it's just like the theme of the deck. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of it. Oh, I don't know why I put it in my favorites. That goes on this side. The Devil. I like the coloring better in this little card. I don't know if it's picking up the same on camera, but in person, I like the coloring here. But here, I can see all the detail. So I guess I like them both. They're just like little differences. I still can't get over that bag. I thought it was going to be like a soft satin. It just feels like a freaking tent. Like those bags that the tents come in. Just oh my goodness. I know some people don't like nudity in their decks. If that pertains to you, this would not be the deck for you. I know I usually go over that in a later part of the video, but ooh, this horse has really creepy eyes. And it's the Sun card, but it's very creepy with those red eyes. Kind of reminds me of bunnies. How bunnies are like so cute and cuddly, but they're vicious, some of them. They have those red eyes. I really like the Judgment card. Love how the hands are coming up. She's just dancing. It's like, is she dancing with death? She's dancing with... She's not fighting what's to come. I like the background on this card better. Actually, I like the coloring in this card, the little one. I would like it like that, just obviously bigger. Okay, I don't have these in order. Like I said, I already did this video and deleted it on accident. Okay. Let's run the wands. I thought I put it in order, but I didn't have this one open, so I wasn't sure which suit was going to come first. I like the redness of the mini card, but I like the coloring of the hand better in the big one, and I like the coloring of the wand better in the mini card, all the wood. Funny how that works. Some of them I like the, oops, that's not my favorite. I like the big card better, and some I like the mini card better. Oh my gosh, look at this Two of Wands. Oh, the three, is that a person? It is. There's a person down there. And it looks, I can't really tell. I'm gonna bring this up close and see in editing, but it looks like her mouth, like there's blood coming out of her mouth. Oh my goodness. And the Four of Wands. Normally this is like a celebration. It kind of gives me home vibes, perhaps wedding. What is going on here? Is he burning bridges? I don't know. We will do a sample reading at the end of this video. These guys are hilarious. They just look like a bunch of little goblins up to mischief. I really like this wand suit. It's been so long I don't remember, I didn't really remember what the cards were like in this deck. Love the Six of Wands. What are they like? Fairy people? Or no, they're like elves, I think. Cute. Oh my gosh. And the Seven of Wands. Instead of playing like whack-a-mole and having to keep knocking all these people or sticks down, it's like she's, oops, trying to outrun it. She can't. These tentacles are just coming out. Like her fears, her worries, her shadows, her past. Or the future, what ifs, and she's running backwards. The Eight of Wands. It looks like she's dreaming or in a meditative state. She's a mermaid. That's cool. So obviously I love this suit. Look at him. Oh my gosh, he's scary. He kind of reminds me of the Pied Piper. He's the reason you lock your doors at night. Oh my gosh, he is so creepy. Oh. She's pretty cool too. But she's not going to make it into my favorites. For some reason I feel, I don't know if that's just a smaller scale or... I kind of like the smaller card better on this one. But the coloring does seem it seems pretty close. But I prefer the smaller one. But she's not going to make it into my favorites. She doesn't beat out the 9 of batons. Page of batons. She's kind of cool. I like her facial expression and her body language. Like she's learning. She's gaining some confidence. She's really curious and she's practicing. I like that. I like him too. He's not going to be my favorite though. I love his confidence. He's the shit and he knows it. Ooh, the Queen of Wands. I know she's like the suit of fire. I don't really like this fire right here, but I think her dress is pretty cool. And again, I love her facial expression and her body language. The King of Wands. He reminds me of like a badass kung fu master who's like really good with the bow staff. I love his hair. Like it's so sleek, but it's kind of wild at the same time with like this fire and darkness behind him. I like that too. Oh wait, here we go. I like this card, but it's not going to make it into my favorites. I wish this would have been a little bit more contrast. Like if the crow was just, or the raven, whatever it is, was just a little bit darker. Maybe the Ace of Cups, maybe those lotuses and the lily pads be a little bit brighter. Oops, I'm going to do this. I like these horses. I don't think they're going to make it into my favorites, but I really like this card. Kind of gives me yin and yang vibes. Both powerful, but one has to yield to the other for them to be a good partner, good partnership. The 3 of Cups. That's really interesting, especially with all of this black stuff in the background. What is that? This card is really sad and depressing. This card just makes me sad. I don't normally have that reaction with the 4 of Cups. And this bunny's face is so expressive. I feel like this card's a lot lighter, at least than the bunny. The bunny and the floor, yeah, the ground, a lot lighter. The red seems like it jumps off the page a little bit more because of the lighter ground. I like the coloring in this one. But on the, I'm like, in person, I like the coloring of the little card, but on the screen, I like the coloring of this card, so I don't know. But look at that face. It's so expressive. Those eyes. There's only one eye that you can see. The eye. Oh my goodness. The 6 of Cups. At first I thought they were broken, like at first glance, but it looks like those are gypsum weed or it's like a night blooming flower in large doses. It's highly toxic. It can kill you. I like the coloring in the larger card. This one's a little bit more washed out for me. It's really interesting because it's like the parent is feeding the babies, okay? And this card usually reminds me of childhood memories. So it's like, what were you fed? Were you fed the smaller dose where it was beneficial, or were you fed the larger dose? Interesting. I like the bigger card. The coloring, I like that a little bit better. I really like the Six of Cups. I wish you could see this a little bit better though. Like this kind of blends in with her gown. The Eight of Cups. I think this card has better contrast, at least in person. But I like the darkness in this one. And I like how like they're leaving, they're leaving what no longer serves them behind. And the snake is headed uphill. Like the winding, it reminds me of like a leveling up spiritually, like Kundalini. It's going to be challenging. A lot of emotion going on over there. And the Nine of Cups. Definitely like the larger card better. This card kind of like washes out for me. There's not that much contrast. Maybe there's not supposed to be. I feel like the coloring is slightly better on the smaller card than it is on the bigger card. I love how the page looks like a child. She looks very innocent. Now we got our Knight, our Charmer, Mr. Romantic. I think I like the coloring better in the little card. Like if these two cards had a baby, if it was like a happy medium in between these cards, I think I would like that better. This guy's face kind of looks green in this card to me. It's like a greenish wash. I like the coloring better in the larger card. I really like this this King of Cups. And it's interesting, it looks like his swirling of the water is what's conjuring up this mermaid in the back. Is that what the Queen is doing too? Yeah, they're both conjuring it up. On the computer, I like the large card, but in real life, I like the little card coloring better. I like the Two of Swords. I like the duality shown, like the reflection, and how there's none of these dark creatures in the reflection down here. I think that's really cool. Not going to make it into my favorites, but I do like it. And I think this is really interesting too with the spider and the spider web. I could see that being really interesting, like the way it'll come up in readings with it being upright or in the reverse, and there's like all of this like black goo dripping off of the heart. Like, who spun the web that you're stuck in? Was it somebody else's web that you're trapped in? Did you spin this web of your own doing? That's cool. Four of Swords kind of gives me like a darker Sleeping Beauty vibe. What's going on here? I don't know. This card is really intense with the sword sticking out of her back. Who is this Five of Swords person? Is that a friend, a family member? This reminds me of like a jealous friend. That reminds me of a bride. That's the first thing that came to mind, like this jealous person who's inserted herself so close in a position where she could really inflict pain. She's just stabbing her in the back. It's like this person never saw it coming. Oh my gosh, I love how the baby is so prominently shown here, exposed. This Six of Swords always reminds me, I'm usually drawn to the child. And it looks like this one, like, has this one taken her baby? She's reaching out for it. Was her innocence stolen? Was her childhood stolen? Wow, that is intense. Love the Seven of Swords. So I think so far the swords and the wands are my favorite suits. Oh my gosh, this one looks more trapped than most of the Eight of Swords cards that I am used to working with, because if she gets down, the rats will get her. And here we have the vulture just waiting for her to be picked off, and she's not even really tightly bound around the neck. And she could get down. It'd be a fight. I mean, she could like take that off and maybe use the sword to free herself. It might be painful, but I mean, she could surely overpower these rats and deprive the vulture a nice meal. Oh my gosh. Nine of Swords. Love this card. I love that dress. I love how the branches look like hands. And then here we have her hand on the blade. Is she putting the swords in herself? Is she trying to take them out? I don't know. They're not in the back. They're in the front. So has she done this to herself, or has someone done this to her? This page kind of looks like a rebel to me. love that handle on the sword. I really like the way that this knight looks. It's giving me like Marco Polo vibes. Queen of Swords. Oh, wow. Look at her costume. Well, it's not a costume, it's her royal garb, but that is awesome. Now, at first I thought these were bats, but they're butterflies. I don't really like her face. I love the sword and her outfit, but it's just not going to make it into my favorites. She's not going to beat out this Knight of Swords for sure. I already know that. King of Swords. It's interesting how he's barefoot. I'm really drawn to his bare feet. Like, that's the first thing I notice. Spooky Ace of Pentacles. And what is this, like a cut apple? At first I thought they were like sand dollars, but I'm kind of getting cut apple vibes. So again, it's happening on camera. I like the larger card, and in real life, I prefer the smaller card. I do wish that this deck had better cardstock. And I'm really curious if this cardstock is better than the English version. I really like this card. Three of Pentacles. I like the spiral. I like how there's thorns. I'm really drawn to the thorns. This card doesn't really give me stingy vibes. I kind of feel like it's more just like planting, sowing seeds, investing in your future, planting seeds for your wealth, accumulating, working on being grounded and stable. So here we lose the whole church vibe, and they're just out in the woods. Suppose they could seek refuge in the tree. It looks like it is snowing. It doesn't really look like it's a full-on blizzard though, but he's barefoot. Interesting. Oh my gosh, and what is this? Six of Pentacles. Is that like making a deal with the devil? Like she's signing and then he's giving? What are you contracting? What are you making agreements with in exchange for your energy? Oh my goodness. I like this one. The Seven of Pentacles. He kind of looks creepy. He is doing a good job. Look how big those pumpkins are. And all these pentacles growing here on this bush or shrub or whatever it is. Here I kind of get like harvesting the hard work, like you've done the hard work. I like this one. She kind of looks like she's leaping, like she's about to take flight. I was just like, what is going on? What is that? But I guess her leg is bent behind her. I couldn't really make it out on the small one. I've been trying to look at the small card first to see if I could make it out. I could not make that out. I had to look at the bigger one to see what was going on in this image. That is cute. This is a pretty gloomy Ten of Pentacles. I like the bigger card better. This one just kind of looks a little washed out for me. Dark and mysterious. It looks like there's some sort of animal. I can't make it out what kind. Here in the shadows, here in the roots, he kind of blends in. I'll put it up to the camera. It kind of gives me Alice in Wonderland vibes, like gotta jump down this hole. Interesting. Oh, this card has a big dent in it. What the heck? What is up with that? It's got a big dent and a red spot there. Oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed in the quality of these cards. What a joke. She's kind of got a sassy look about her. At first it kind of looks sassy, and then I guess it's at some points she kind of looks dissatisfied with this. Kind of smirking like, really? I guess that expression can take on different meanings depending on the situation. It's an interesting look. I do like the Knight of Pentacles. Making an offering to this owl. This queen is interesting. She's either got like one of those elongated skulls or she's got the poof going on. I don't like when decks do that, when they do like provocative female character naked and then the man is fully clothed. I mean, I get it can like represent innocence or like show like a nurturing aspect, but why is the man not naked too? Showing his strength. I don't know. It's just a little weird. It kind of reminds me of like Low Scarabeo vibes, how they always do that. I don't really like this king's expression. He kind of looks smug and selfish, honestly. But that may change when I read the guidebook. I'll have to do that translation thing. So let me go over my list. The publisher. This one was from LLewellyn. So I do have to say, some of the colors are a little bit washed out, but the cutting on these cards, I'm looking at this one more time. Oops, I have some hair in there. It's a lot better than the VEGA edition. Ooh, I'm just gonna burn it. This is really bad for right out of the box. Like it should not be lifting. It should not have the band loose inside the bag. If you're going to use a die that's not completely round, it's roundish, okay, fine, that's the die that you have, but it should at least be sharp so that way the corners don't lift up. it just lifts up a lot. It's really bad. And I don't know if I made a good call going with the French edition versus the English. If the English edition cardstock is worse than this, well, then I guess I made a good call. If it's the same, then I probably would have taken my chances with the English edition, because then I would have had an English guidebook. Let's see how this deck shuffles. It's a little stiff. It does dig into my fingers. That's pretty uncomfortable. It should break in, but right out of the box, it's not comfortable. They're very stiff. Oh! Let's see if I can shuffle the mini one. This cardstock is a lot thinner, but due to the smaller size, I feel like it works. If this full size was as thin as this, I think that might be a little dangerous. Oh, these are hard to shuffle because they're so tiny. I didn't do that with this one. I'll show you that right now, but it won't be first shuffle. Well, I guess technically this is not first shuffle either, because I already did an unboxing of this. I think I like this better, just like this. But honestly, when I was just right now, I thought this might be fun to just do a big messy pile because they're so little, and just like, honestly, this might be fun at parties, or like maybe not if you were going to read professionally at somebody's party, but if you're going to a party, this is so small you could easily stick it like in a organza bag or a satin bag that has like little beads on it. I have quite a few of those wrapped in a little cloth or something. Ooh, did I knock that over? I don't know when that fell. I'm just throwing that out, and it's so small. I'm just like either you picking or somebody else picking cards out of your big messy pile. I like that. I think that's how I'll read with this one. So, sample reading. Let's see. We'll just do past, present, future. Past, 7 of Cups. I can see it says indecision, difficulty making a choice. And that's brought you to the present decision. 9 of Pentacles. I feel like you've arrived. You have a lot to be grateful for. And then the 2 of Swords in the reverse. Because you finally learned how to make decisions. You stopped giving up your power. I'm going to bring these in a little bit closer so you can see. Okay. Without reading the guidebook, that's the message that I would get out of those. Sniff test. Okay, let's check it out. Almost no smell with this one. And again, I've had these decks for a while. I wanted to wait until it was a little closer to October. So today is September the 30th. I don't know when I'll have this video edited, but feels close enough to October for me. Sniff test on this one. Definitely passes the sniff test. It smells like nothing. The guidebook smells like nothing. I was sure this one was going to be like, oh, stinky, but it doesn't smell like anything. Nice, very nice. I kind of went over this in the beginning. I felt like this is really big to have a half-filled page of information. Like this could have been on the same page. They could have put a little picture with that snippet of information below. Made a smaller guidebook. I feel like the font size for being so, like having so much empty space could be bigger. I mean, it's not like they're afraid of using ink. They're doing like full color, full page images with borders. You know, they're not shying away from using ink. I feel like there's good contrast on here. That really stands out. I'm pretty sure that's like a keyword, keywords. Let's see how many spreads they give you. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like there's a chocolate spread there. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's go this way. So it looks like a single card. I'm guessing. Correct me if I'm wrong. So single, a 3 card, another 3 card, another 3 card, 5 card, a chakra, another 3 card. Okay, so 7 spreads. That's pretty good. I think the cutting is horrible on these cards. I'm not happy about that at all. I don't like the corners. I do feel like this will wear in, but I'm not happy about the lamination already lifting off right when I get it out of the package. I think this bag sucks. That I would have been happier with an organza bag. Something soft. This just really does not feel good. It feels like very cheap satin, probably polyester. And again, it's from different publishers, but the coloring is not entirely consistent. That is to be expected. Even with the same publisher, sometimes different print runs will have variations in the coloring. Oh, slippery. Is it slippery or sticky? Is it grip? It slides pretty good like this. Let's see how this shuffles in an overhand. With this deck, this might be my preferred method, at least until they get broken in a bit, because it's really not comfortable for me to do shuffling in the other way. Let me see how it does the big messy pile. I know for sure the little one, I love it like that. Oh, there's quite a big difference in the color of these backs too. This one looks more brown and that one is more green. That's a big difference. Just noticed that. And honestly, if I was to see this online, like a big difference like that, I might even think this one was a fake. But knowing that I got it from Magic and the author came down and signed, I know it's an authentic copy, but it's just such a big difference from the green. So now it just comes down to you. Like, do you prefer the green back or do you like the brown, more of an earthy tone? I don't know. I didn't want to do green or red nail polish. I didn't feel like digging through polishes that I've already worn to find my blacks. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do like brown because I'm sure there's like trees in there. And it turns out like it actually kind of goes with these backs. I don't really like this. It's too much going on for me on this. I don't have enough room on my table. So I don't really like this in the big messy pile. Oh, I'm trying to get some reversals in here. Mix these up pretty well so we could do a sample reading with this. This deck does not feel good shuffling. So I don't know if you can see that, like I'm getting dents on my finger, my thumb. It's getting red. That's really not comfortable. I was sure oh man, did you see that? If you like my favorite card, you're probably sitting there cringing like, no, you didn't do your favorite card. But I think I know what it is. Let me see. Really love that one. I love the contrast and just how this card just really jumps off the page. It's a little bit easier to narrow down than now that I've kind of already gone through them. So eliminate some of these from my favorite pile. This one's so hilarious. I love these guys. So cute, but not going to be my favorite. Okay, so I've really narrowed it down. Let's see which one is my favorite before I forget again. Okay, so we've narrowed it down to 5. I think this is my favorite card. Judgment, which is interesting because when I first started reading tarot, when I was learning how to read tarot, the Judgment card really bugged the crap out of me. I did not like the Judgment card. I did not like Temperance. And there was one other one. What was it? Judgment, Temperance. Oh, I don't remember which one it was, but I just couldn't stand those cards. They used to bug the crap out of me. Judgment very rarely is ever one of my favorite cards in a deck. But here we are. I wish I could read it. I'll bring up the book in case you can read French. Oh, so it's a vampire. I understand that. A vampire. Something symbolizes erotic. Oh. Metamorphosis. Sorcery. Intuition, cadavers, the tombs. I see them coming out of their tombs. Something about, I don't know. Is that talking about evil? I don't know. I really don't understand this. The transformation is complete, maybe? I don't know. Oh, I'm not actually recording with my phone, so I can do it. I can show you what I'm talking about. So this is what I was talking about. So you get, it's not really going to show well. So you take a photo. Okay, so I did that. Swipe or tap to select text. Okay, so let's copy all of it. And is that showing? We're going to go to translate. And then it says in English. Okay, so it says, vampire bites are erotic symbols that mark the metamorphosis. The death card has taught us that all life is ephemeral. Change is the natural state of things. That's why the shadow witch appears. Our intuition leads us to what we demand. We learn who we are, we surprise ourselves. Hands of corpses come out of the graves to express an awakening at all levels of existence. What is true for you is true for the whole world. When you change, the world changes. What is below is like what is above, and what is above is like what is below. The transformation of the soul is complete, meaning the choice is made. Click. Permanent change. Nothing will ever be the same again. Evolution is at hand. Renaissance. Answer to the call of your heart, opening to joy. In shadow, use constant distraction and pathos to avoid confronting the heart of the problem. Lose yourself in distraction and agitation to escape your inner truth. Refusal to change his habits. Nurture beliefs that give a false self-image. Unrealistic expectations of others. Oh, it has a play button. It didn't used to have this.
Vampire bites are erotic symbols that mark the metamorphosis.
Okay, so you could play it if you don't want to read it. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's new, the reading part. Let's pick a random card. Let's just pick a random page. This is, well, no, I'll do it my usual way. Let's pick a random card and we'll see how the guidebook reads for that. Does it have a cohesive theme? I think it does, except for that one card where it's just like the apples with the thorns. I think it was the no, not the Five of Pentacles. I don't remember what it was. It was like the black card with all the little cut apples around, and I was talking about how the contrast was really good. It just jumped off the card. I don't feel like that one really fits in with the theme, but I love it. Okay, so we are going to do Seven of Swords. So let's check out Seven of Swords. Oh, this was the card I was just talking about. Three of Pentacles. I don't really feel like that one ties in. I would like to see more cards in this style, in this deck, but that's just not the case. And that's okay. Okay, so let's take a photo. So I'm just going to push this little, can't see it. Oh, I guess it only pops up on text. Okay, there's like a little button there. Okay, can I make this stay? Let me see. Okay, I'm trying to show you the button. This little button here. So I'm going to push that. And then I'm going to push select all. Okay, and then translate into my language. Whoa, it's different now. Okay, let's try it in the other way. Let's just try the photo. Why is it live? Okay, so we're going to select the text. Okay, there we go. That's what we want to do. So it says, and I don't know how accurate this translation is, but it's going to be like a general. So your wife has 7 teepees. Swords. I don't know. She wears a dress in ambu. Throw a red cape. His delicate legs and bare feet are exposed. I think it's her. A threatening wolf sneaks on the path in search of her. While a pair of eyes look at her from the tree above her, the path is dotted with dead leaves that crack under its feet. The white of her dress evokes purity, while the red hood is an erotic symbol of passion and fervor. The combination of these two symbols evokes both the loss of virginity and chastity. Wolves, as well as other threatening creatures, have often been used to evoke dangerous masculinity. This card allures to a successful escape. It is the ability to go unnoticed and get away with it. It reflects the need for radical action. The Seven of Swords card contains in her the occult luck linked to the number 7. She thwarts danger and sneaks away. There is still a long way to go. The woman and the wolf choose this situation consciously or unconsciously. These two will meet in the near future. It's their destiny. So yeah, I could definitely see this as her using seduction, and I don't mean that only like in a sexy way. That could be in her speech and her mannerisms to get out of difficult situations, to take her power back. There's I'm going to have to remember to put this in the description, but there's a video on YouTube that I often refer my clients to. I made my son listen to it. I was like, not only do you need this, like when you're flirting with somebody, but you can also use that like when you're on a job interview. You can use that when you're, trying to land sponsors, or when you're, meeting people. Like, how do I want people to perceive me? Your body language, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk to people, your eye contact, all of that stuff has a message. Okay, so moving on. Versus the Rider-Waite definitely takes liberties, and I feel like it takes it in a different direction. But like I said, I bought this specifically for doing shadow work. I wanted a deck that was a little bit darker. I wanted something themed for the month of October, and for looking at uncomfortable truths and digging up what needs to be dug up. Does it remind me of a deck that I have? Well, she is the author of, what is that deck called? it's a different vibe, but in some ways I mean, it's totally different imagery. In some ways it does remind me of this deck. Not much. This is a much lighter deck, but we do have like some of like these mythological creatures. Maybe that's why. Maybe some of the faces are similar in the cards. Here, like we have another one with the 7 swords where it looks to me like she's putting them into herself. As far as like most of the imagery, like with the color themes and all of that, no, I can't say that this deck reminds me of a deck that I have. Just there's some parts where I'm like, oh, that kind of reminds me of Secrets of the Witch's Garden, but not much. Like if you have that deck, I think this deck is completely different. And I just have to say that one has a linen cardstock, and that one is a dream to shuffle. I love that deck. It's one of my favorites. It's by LLewellyn. Like there is like some chipping on some of the cards on my Secrets of the Witch's Garden deck, but I love it. I just think it adds to the charm, and obviously I would prefer it not to chip, but that doesn't bother me at all. It's a dream to work with. I love the linen finish. I love that deck. This one, I think I might have to work with it before I love it. I like the imagery in this deck, but I hate the quality. And that is a strong word, but I'm really disappointed that this was the better edition supposedly, and it's still not something that I would not have purchased it if I had seen it in person. Especially that one with the red dot, like just like the random dent and the red dot. Like, what the heck is that? Okay, I don't know if you can hear that outside. That's my neighbor's kid playing on their little car. I'm just gonna keep recording. Is this deck for newbies? Probably not. I would say that this deck would probably be better for intermediate to advanced tarot readers. I think that you should still learn the original Rider-Waite. I still recommend that as a first deck. You don't have to. You don't have to go with that. Go with whatever, is really speaking to you. But that's just my recommendation. I would not have been happy with this deck as a second deck. I think it's too different from the Rider-Waite. I think it would have confused me. But since I am familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith system, even if I did not have the ability to go through with the photo and translate this book, I would still be comfortable reading with this deck intuitively. But having that ability just kind of makes me a little bit happier. The only thing that would have made me happier would be if the quality was improved on the production of this entire package. I'm honestly happier with this little mini deck, and I did not expect that to be the case. I thought this was just going to be like an added bonus. I might pull this out on occasion, probably not that often, and I'm sitting here kind of mind blown that I'm really loving this deck more than this one. I thought this was going to be the one that I pulled out all the time. I thought I was going to be in love with my little satin bag. That's a tent bag. And this one was just going to be a collector's item. And I think I'm going to just probably use this deck to familiarize myself with the imagery and then end up working with this mini deck, because it just feels good in the hands. It makes me happier than this one. Let's see, who might like it, who might not like it. If you like Halloween, if you like things that are dark and creepy, if you love October themed decks, if you want dark decks, if you want a shadow deck, if you want something that with a little bit of a shock factor, you might like this deck. If you're ready to dive in and shed light on your shadows, if you like witches, this kind of reminds me of like Disney villain vibes, kind of. If you're into that, then you might like this deck. Who might not like it? If you need a lighter deck, if you want something softer, if you need it to follow the Rider-Waite. If you need your images to not be spooky or not have nudity, this deck will not be for you. I'm showing the mini deck only because it's just feeling really good in my hands. And initially I hated this deck because it was so small. I was like, oh, how is this ever going to live up to the full size? But here we are. What else? So the little one, I like it, but I would not like it if I could not see the images up close. The only reason I like this one is because I can go through and familiarize myself with the larger images. Because again, I said sometimes I could not really make out what's going on. There is a color difference thing. You have to take that into consideration too. I also feel like these have a different coating. The glare is different. They both will glare. Okay, come on. But not in the same way. It's a little bit different. They feel different. It's a different type of paper and coating. Okay, sample reading from this deck. Let's see. Oh, let's do one from the guidebook because we can just do the picture thing. Okay, so let's see what this is. Okay. Each tarot draw represents the course of one story. Each tarot draw gives a particular meaning to each of the cards drawn. Shuffle the cards and empty your mind. Oh, you can't even see that. And empty your mind before drawing them. Beginner tarologists who feel intimidated by 78 cards can facilitate the draw by interpreting only the major arcana. When you feel ready, you can read all the cards. Okay, so that part is for beginners, I think. Okay, so the first card is what I need to know. Card 2 is the shadow draw. Oh, that's the question. What? So I think this is what your question is. What do I need to know? It's weird because it says over here, oh my gosh, I can't say it. It says 1, what I need to know, and then it says 1 again, my share of light. So I think 1 is the question, what do I need to know? And then card 1 is my share of light. 2 is my share of shadow. And then 3, how can I integrate my 2 parts? Okay, so that's how we're gonna read it. And again, it's probably lost in translation just a little bit, but that's my final answer. My share of light, my share of shadow, and how can I integrate the 2 parts? Oh my gosh, that kid is having so much fun outside. And I know it's all picking up on camera. Okay, these are kind of starting to break in. They're feeling a little bit better. I do have to admit that. They're still pretty sticky. Okay, let's move these little guys over here. You know, honestly, I might use this tent bag for the little cards, and we'll play with that later. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and the shadow. All right. My share of light. 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. Oh, and I felt like that card was making a deal with the devil. Okay, so let me read it intuitively first. My share of light. You will not cheapen yourself for short-term gain, short-term pleasures. That your dealings are very ethical. You won't make major compromises. You won't compromise who you are for the sake of others. Your share of shadow, 5 of batons. I could see this as, I mean, these guys don't look like they're doing too much damage. I could see that your share of shadow, maybe you're drawn to drama for whatever reason. You know, maybe you enjoy it a little bit, or maybe you just are kind of stuck in a cycle, in a pattern. Like maybe you're addicted to the responses that your body has due to past unresolved traumas. You know, you might just be like stuck in a drama loop, you know. I'm really drawn to how it's a giant mushroom, and I feel it's kind of just like grows and it festers, and it just it kind of just spawns. It just, you know, like the mycelium just kind of like spits out, and it just like pops up at these unexpected times, and you're just like, oh yeah, drama. Just kind of, you just can't help it. How do I integrate the 2 parts of myself? Addiction for drama and not wanting to sell your soul, not wanting to compromise who you are. How can you integrate the 2 parts? The 3 of Cups in the reverse. Oh my gosh. And I was so drawn to when I first saw this card, like, why in the 3 of Cups is there like this black goo coming out of the cups or coming into the cups, you know? And I feel like, how do you integrate the 2 parts of yourself? By choosing your circle carefully. by not surrounding yourself with people who are toxic. If you find that you are drawn to these drama people, these people who are always involved in drama, always like have, this stuff, like maybe you need to find a new circle of friends. Maybe you need to put yourself in situations, you know what I mean, where you're not going to fall into these old habits. And that's how you create new habits. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a while. It might take 30, 60, 90 days to break that habit. But once you do, once you create a new habit, once you make a new response, well, then you're going to feel more in line with your light, your share of light. And then maybe when these things do come up, you can look at them objectively without getting sucked into the gossip, without getting sucked into everybody's, bullshit. You don't need to insert yourself voluntarily. So now let's go to the book and see what it has to say. Okay, so 6 of Pentacles. I'm going to read the whole thing. You evil nothing, standing golden, Gramandian the month. I have no idea what the heck that's talking about. Figures form a triangle. One of the twins reaches out and accepts coins from the devil. The devil hands the other twin a contract written on parchment for her to sign. She signs it with a pen and her blood. 6 pentacles hang from the lianas and trees that surround the scene. The devil is in a position of power. His figure dominates young girls. The young girls evoke a double personality. Is it an act of charity or an economic transaction? Is the girl aware of what she is committed to by signing? Examine this map through the notion of mutual exchange. How do you give or ask for energy and attention? How do you exchange money and material goods with others? How do you exchange information and ideas? Do you expect something in return, or do you give yourself without any expectation? What do you do with some people around you? Which character on the card do you currently identify with? I love that. Okay, so now let's take the other page photo. Okay, so it says meaning, acts of charity and donations, reciprocity. You receive what you need, but at what price? Think carefully before signing. Contracts and giving in too much. Manifestation of kindness in unforeseen circumstances. In shadow, charitable works and charity give your time, workforce, or money. Are worthwhile actions. They could make a person feel wonderfully good and even arouse sensations similar to those of an endorphin discharge. Unless you use your acts of charity to inflate your ego and feel superior to others, examine your motivations. Okay, I do like that. I do sometimes get that kind of a feeling like doing charity work only with the intention of making a social media post about it. So everybody can pat you on the back and be like, oh, wow, look at this person. So nice. They're so caring. So what are your motives? But this one, I felt like it was signing a contract in blood. Like, what are you making an agreement to? And you don't do that. That's your light. That's what you do well. You don't put yourself in those sticky situations. Okay, but the shadow, 5 of batons, and it's like maybe you're a good person and you try to help people, but people take advantage of you and they come to you with all of their bullshit and their baggage and there's just some part of you like that takes the bait. Okay, so oh, this book is coming apart too. That's another complaint. Okay, the binding is already cracking and I've been using this book for all in all, like what, 5 minutes? Well, no, it lays flat. I'm sure the pages are going to start to fall apart before I'm even done familiarizing myself with this deck. Okay. So, oh, I don't like when it does it like that. Engelis, maybe that's the type of mushroom, I don't know. Dementiers, Surian under the foot, Don Champy. Ignon poisonous, I'm pretty sure this is lost in translation. The fungus is a mysterious and unexpected manifestation. I definitely felt like that. I felt like the mycelium just like goes out, and then these mushrooms just like pop up. These situations just appear out of nowhere. A mysterious and unexpected manifestation. Mushrooms can be healthy and nutritious food for the forest, but they can also be carriers of a deadly poison. Psychedelic fungi open up new worlds of perception. Venomous mushrooms often appear in fairy circles. Some unlucky people can be held prisoners if they enter the circle. Fairy symbolism is deeply rooted in many cultures. These small winged creatures can help humans, but if you provoke them, they can become threatening or even dangerous. Have you ever been walking alone in the woods to have the particular feeling that something invisible had moved at the same time as you? The 5 in the tarot mark the mitten of the story. They always evoke the ultimate challenge to be met and overcome for the changeover to happen. The 5 of Sticks suggests lively discussions. How will you be able to channel the energy overflow? Yeah, that's what I felt it was. It was just like getting sucked into other people's bullshit and drama. All right, let's see what it says in the reverse. What else it says? Okay, so meaning, conflict, and lively debate. Hesitation as to how to proceed. Stress people in the family or in the workplace. Fiery energy. Transmission to others of deep convictions. Action. Shadow, why are you fighting? Do you let yourself be carried away and impacted by the group effect? Do you surrender to the force of anger when you are provoked? Anger provides a dummy power. Is it possible for you to stay calm even in the face of adversity? Are you able to abdicate in certain situations? Yeah, so that's pretty much the vibe that I was getting. How do you integrate these two parts of yourself? We have 3 of Cups. Only saucers. They look at a crackling fire, hypnotized by the undulating flames, as if terrifying visions were dancing before them. They're hypnotized. Spirals of smoke float above them. Their collective dream rises and appears to the world. Oh, so it's smoke. It looks like black goo to me. Each of the cats is sitting near a cup. The feline energy resembles that of the 3 witches of Macbeth, the sacred trinity, the sacred power of the gathered souls who share the same desire to create a new and ecstatic reality. The number 3 reflects creativity. Friends share a common goal. They are stronger together. Cats have a collective vision of their quest and together are bigger than the sum of their parts. This gives them a reason to rejoice. The emotional nature of the cats is, it says cuts, but it's cats, is amplified by the creative essence of the number 3. It is the indestructible bond of friendship and the fact of being present for others. Meaning, celebration, friendship, gather in a common expression of support. Raise each other. Combined efforts lead to generous feelings. Camaraderie. Make common cause. And shadow, which this our card was in the reverse. So it says humans are programmed for social interaction. It is so pleasant to be part of a group, to find your tribe, to taste the feelings of connection and belonging. Do you sacrifice part of your personality to integrate? Are you looking forward to integrating by taking advantage of the exclusion of others? So yeah, I feel like that is like getting sucked into their drama, you know, partaking in the gossip, cheesy, juicy gossip. Maybe it's like complaining and nagging and, you know, and I just feel like this is, you need to find your tribe. You need to integrate yourself with different people who are more on your wavelength, people who are not going to suck you into this. So yeah, that's how the deck reads. That's how I read it intuitively without really having connected to the deck. That's just like my first impressions, what's coming to me compared to how the book reads. So that way you can get an idea, like how similar is my style of reading to your style of reading, and could you get by without the guidebook? You know, is this something that you want to work your way through? You know, do you like connecting yourself with the guidebook, or would you rather just read intuitively, and how are you going to interpret these images? And if you do get the guidebook in French, is yours going to be falling apart like mine? And is that something that you want to deal with? You know, are you okay? Do you want to tape your pages or glue the cover back on, or however? I'll have to deal with this issue when it arises. Okay, so I do like the way that the cards read, both decks. And sometimes that's the case. You could have the same the same tarot deck in a different version and just not really connect to one. That happens sometimes. It'd be like me thinking, oh, I'm gonna like the big one, and be drawn to the one that, like, wow, I did not think I was going to be connected to this. I thought this was just going to be more like a collector's edition, but now I feel drawn to use it. So I think I really won't care too much about keeping this like a collector's edition. And if anything, I'll just keep this little tent bag for my mini deck. And then I don't think I'll ever forget it, because this, I just like this bag so much. It just reminds me of the bag that you get. Granted, they never have this nice of a pull string, but the bag that you get your little parts for the tent in, you know, it just has that like really funky fabric. It reminds me of that. So I'll always know what's in this bag. I won't have to open it up. Maybe I'll just keep it in here with the guidebook, or perhaps I'll keep the guidebook in my tarot shelf and maybe make its own separate bag, because this is pretty big. I mean, it's big enough to repurpose. Let me show you what I use right now. Oh, it's so tight though. I don't know if I would want to. Right now I'm repurposing this 5-cent tarot box to hold tea light candles in. So I just keep it on my, let me just show you. So that's what I've been holding my tea lights in. I have a bigger box of tea lights underneath my tarot table, and I just like refill it so I can have these at hand. I don't really like the way that this opens. It's kind of sticky, and you can tell, so obviously it came from France, right? So it had a long journey, but there's like this crease down the side of the box, a dent here, and I'm pretty sure that's where this guidebook got damaged. Because let's see, let's do a little bit of Nancy Drew detective work here. Where's the damage on our book here? Okay, so yep, that's right where the crunch was. So this box took a hit, and they didn't package it very well. It was ordered on Amazon. Amazon is not known for the best shipping, and ordering from overseas, that's just risky. Okay, so with that, like, okay, whatever. Maybe if I lived in France, it wouldn't have come so damaged, and this is like collapsing here from that hit. That's fine. That's a risk I was willing to take, but I know I sound like I'm harping on it, but I'm just trying to make sure that you know that I can overlook the box. I can overlook the damage that was done during shipping, but this was described as a nicer bag. I'm not okay with the band just being left in the bag. It wasn't even connected. And that would have to be an awful lot of jumbling for the cards to break the band in the bag. I don't think that was ever connected. I am disappointed, but I like the images and I like the way that the deck reads, but I'm not happy with the quality. So if you're already familiar with this deck, or if you've got eagle vision and you don't care that the deck is this small, you're comfortable using a magnifying glass or wearing glasses to look at these, or you really don't care about making out all the details, you can just read it intuitively. You've got your Rider-Waite meanings down and you're just ready to go. I would honestly recommend the cheaper mini deck. I like this one a lot better. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this review and this comparison and my random ramblings and my complaining. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Bye for now, gems.